A couple of months back I made a video on how to create a simple UI using Squareland Studio out of pure frustration because there were no good tutorials on how to do it. I did not expect this video to gain any traction, but at the time of me recording this it has almost 20,000 views, indicating that there's a clear demand for UI creation on the Arduino platform. Today I want to introduce a tool I recently stumbled upon, but is basically unknown for some reason: Lopaka. Lopaka is a browser-based sandbox editor that allows you to create graphical user interfaces. While it can usually be quite time-consuming to do this by hand, Lopaka auto-generates code for you based on the drawings in your editor. This does not enable you to build the same refined GUIs as Squareland Studio, but is a lot quicker and easier to use and can be utilized for simpler UIs or early prototypes. Lopaka works with a couple of libraries, including TFT ESBI, which is the same library that is used by Squareland Studio. Even though the setup is almost identical to the setup I showed in my Squareland Studio tutorial, I will demonstrate it again using an ESP32 DevKit v4 and a 160 by 128 pixel TFT display based on the ST7735 chip to have it all in one place. If you have already done this, just skip ahead to the next chapter. First, open the Arduino IDE, go to Settings and choose a new folder as your sketchbook location. You don't have to do this, but I find it helpful in this case so the library settings are all in one place. Next, go to the Libraries tab and download TFT ESBI by Bodmer. Now we are ready to configure the library for the display and microcontroller we are using. Open the Explorer and navigate to the folder you just created as a sketchbook and then go to Libraries and TFT ESBI. You can either configure your settings in the user_setup.h file or use the user_setup_select.h file. I have demonstrated both options in my other video, so I will only show the second option in this video since I prefer to do it this way. Open the user_setup_select.h file in a text editor of your choice. In my case I'm using VS Code. Comment out the line that selects the user_setup.h file as a default setup file and search for the correct combination for your microcontroller and chip. In my case it is this line right here. Don't worry if the display size is not correct, this can be easily adjusted. Now go back to the Explorer and into the user_setups folder and search for the file you just selected. Open it in the text editor as well, adjust the width and height if necessary and choose the pins you want to use. The naming might differ from the schematic of your display, but MOSI is the same as SDA and SCLK is the same as SCL. We don't need the meso pin. I will also include wiring diagrams for my examples. First, go to the Lopaka website and log in if you want to create multiple projects without overwriting previous ones. However, you can also just play around with the tool without an account. Create a new project and select TFT ESBI as a platform and the dimensions of your screen. Once that is done, you get to the editor and have a couple of simple tools in your toolbar. A select tool, a paintbrush, a text tool, a rectangle tool, a circle tool and a line tool. Additionally, there's also a collection of images and icons at the bottom, and you can also convert locally saved images into bitmaps. For the first example, I will create a simple loading screen animation to show the basics. Now just copy the code from the field below and switch to the Arduino IDE. This is the base code I will use for working with the library, a couple of imports and the setup function. Just paste the code from Lopaka in and upload it to the microcontroller. To animate it, I will write a quick animation into the loop function. For the second example, I connected a BMP280 sensor that is capable of measuring temperature and pressure. For the screen, I just used a couple of text boxes, a line, and 2 of the icons from the image collection. To the same template from the first example, I added the static elements of the screen in a draw function and the text boxes for the temperature and pressure into the loop function. I hope this video was helpful to you. Of course, both examples were rather simple illustrations of what you can do with Lopaka, but I am sure it's easy to expand upon. The code will be available in a GitHub repository that you can find in the description below. If you have any questions or want to chat about a project, feel free to join my Discord community server, which is also linked below. See you in the next one.